Akasha, in your work with men, like how are, like I'm constantly working on myself. Like it's almost like part of my day is self-care, is, introspection, is, go through some of these things. But for a lot of people, it's uncomfortable, and it's uncomfortable to kind of expose, like, like, yeah, I did some, maybe I hurt you in the past. Maybe I never apologized for it. Maybe I never did these things. But how are you seeing men start to integrate some of this, specifically powerful men, and be okay with it? Because as a woman, I would prefer to see that than this cold hearted type of person. Like that's not engaging for me. That's not somebody that I would want to do leadership things with. Right? Have you seen men move into this space, and how does that look traditionally?
Yeah, I have in a number of different contexts, but let me say some things about like in sort of traditional leadership development work where and experiences where they're going to be mostly men in leadership positions. And one of the invitations we offer to them, is actually to pause and to look at themselves, to pause, to be with themselves. And to Emily's point, this takes a lot of courage because we are conditioned to look at the system out there and not the
Mm,
system in here. To pause, to look at the complexity in here when everything, even our payment system is about how well are you doing. We're rewarded based on how well we do with the complexity out there. But we often require developing, expanding the internal capacity to be able to do that. One of the things that costs leaders in general, and I see it a lot with male leaders, when they're exhausted, they're really tired. There's this former Harvard professor, well respected professor named Robert Keegan. He's done a lot of adult development work, and he wrote in a book, I think it's in his book Community to Change, about how many of us, especially leaders, we are doing a second job that we're not being paid for. And
mm,
the way he describes this job is similar to what you, Melissa, and Emily have been talking about. The second job that we're doing so much work at is maintaining certain identities, committing a lot of energy to protecting certain parts of ourselves from being exposed or revealed, and also projecting certain parts of ourselves that we think is acceptable. So the energy cost of being inauthentic is very high, and it leads to breakdown, burnout, so many things. And this is years of research that's demonstrated this. So the energy that we put towards being authentic is so much less than the energy we commit to projecting certain ideas, certain identities, certain beliefs that are not ours. And it costs us as leaders. It costs us as men. It's like this leader I mentioned to you. Like I could feel on the bus drive, I could feel just an ease as he's talking about his daughter, his 10-year-old daughter, as she is knitting and she's learning to sell her own crafts that she has made. It's like, who's this guy? It's like it's so different, so easeful, nothing to project, nothing to protect, and managing his energy well. So when we are able to support leaders with uh, committing less energy to pretending to be something that they're not, that the organization might be demanding, when we can support them with that, but first of all, self-awareness practice to see who it is that they really are and what matters to them the most. I've seen leaders when they connect with what matters most to them, be it their spirituality, be it their children, be it their partners, be it just care for the earth, like they lead better. They
yeah.
show up as just more connected human beings, a human being that they can be proud of. Even if
Right.
the organization or the society is like, no, 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 we don't. So there's also a cost, there could be a cost, not always a cost, but some of it is perceived that we cannot show up and lead whole and lead authentically. Like there
And I
is an
think
idea that we can't.
and I think we see it in family businesses as well, where,
Yes.
that was my child, and now they're becoming a leader and we're still taking on these roles.